How to play Omega Red in 6 minutes or less. Today we're going to take a look at Omega Red and how he is the perfect counter for several champs and situations in this game. He is one of the most suicide-friendly characters that is decent when unawakened, but a complete beast when awakened and at a high sig. Now this video will assume that your Omega Red is awakened. To start off with, Omega Red's basic attacking stats are average and his defensive stats are below average. He is totally poison immune and takes 90% less damage from bleeds. Most of his damage though comes from his death ability, so let's go ahead and take a look at his death spores. While close to your enemy, you will place death spores on them at a rate of 2 per second up to 10. When you reach 10, your opponent will begin to degenerate based on base attack, so boost will not amp up the degen damage. When out of range, they drop off at a rate of about 6 to 7 per second. Using Omega Red's Heavy though will place a weak degen debuff on your opponent for 7 seconds and cause X damage for each spore on them. Now while this debuff is applied, spores will not drop off no matter your proximity to your opponent. However, when fighting robots, placing spores is 4 times slower, but you can speed up the process by adding Sabretooth or Deadpool X-Force to your team. This important synergy will cause spores to be placed 30% faster and drop off 30% slower. To place spores on the opponent, you want to generally be within striking distance. You can also add any of these champs to the team and you will gain a spore per parry. Each spore lowers the opponent's armor rating and will reduce their ability to purify debuffs by 10%. At 10 spores, champs like Korg, Kingpin, and Agent Venom will not shrug off parries and debuffs, and this mechanic also works against nodes such as Fearless. Activating Omega Red's Death Field will supercharge the spores and allow you to build up to 30 spores on the opponent and will cause even more degen per spore. Add one of these champs to the team and you will get a 4% crit damage bonus per spore. All of Omega Red's degen damage is in conjunction to his base attack. However, you can add one of these champs to the team and Omega's Death Field will be 10% stronger. Omega does the most damage while his death field is active, so the first of 2 ways to activate it is to get Omega Red bleeding. This is what makes him so suicide friendly. At the start of the fight, the double-edged mastery will place a bleed on him, activating his death field from the start. This ability is also what makes him great against champs that cause bleeds like Morningstar and bleed nodes such as Biohazard and Caltrops. Using the special 2 will also activate the death field for 10 seconds. Now let's talk about Tentacles. These give Omega Red the ability to avoid reflective damage from champs like Electro and Korg and nodes such as Thorns and Spiked Armor. Omega Red's medium, heavy, special 1, and special 2 attacks are all tentacle attacks. So Omega will not take physical reflective damage back with these attacks. Also, when awakened, his tentacle attacks have 10% to 30% chance to be unblockable depending on his signature level. Also, Omega Red's tentacle hits take no damage from instant passives such as Magic's Limbo. So we know his special 2 will activate the death field. His special 1 will remove all death spores and heal Omega Red X amount per spore. Launching this special at 30 spores can really sustain Omega Red from fight to fight. His special 3 will remove all death spores also and place an essence steal buff that will steal health and power from your opponent for 3 seconds. Playing Omega Red is pretty simple. For most fights, it's best to start off with a parry and a heavy to get the degen on and let those spores build up. You should be running suicides, so you will have the death field active at the start of the fight. Use the special 2 to refresh it and make sure you get in as many heavies as possible. Using the special 1 is good in situations where you need a little bit of health back, but you will be sacrificing damage by removing the spores. Just remember, you want to have more than 10 spores built up before using it or it's not really worth it. Now, I don't really use the special 3 for most situations unless I need to power drain the opponent or if I need a good bit of health brought back to me. The best masteries for Omega Red are of course suicides because not only is he poison immune, but he also takes 90% less bleed damage and he has some health steal to cover those recoils. 1 point in coagulate and Omega Red will heal from willpower while bleeding and recovery to get the most from his special 1 and his special 3. But that is it. That is how to play Omega Red in 6 minutes or less. Let me know in the comments below, how do you play Omega Red? Are you more of a special 1 or a special 2 type of person? Do you enjoy playing Omega Red? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.